adding zeros after a decimal point does not change. This is a long one, I know. Bear with me. It does not change the value of a number. The number, so adding zeros after a decimal point doesn't change the value of a number. The number 8.0, this is just an example, 8.00000, it's a lot of zeros, has the exact same value. I'm going to write example off to the side. Has the same value as 8.0. Does that make sense? Even though this looks like it's a larger number because it has more zeros, it's still, they're just place value holders. Okay, that is still 8.0. It's still the exact same value as 8.0. Us adding zeros after our decimal point doesn't change the value of 8 million. It's still 8 million. So what Marissa was saying is that it will increase the value because there would be 6 more zeros to the right of the decimal point. Those 6 zeros do not do anything to the value. They're non-existent. It's still 8 million. So she was partly correct, but then again, she's saying it's because those zeros are there. So then again, she's wrong. So multiplying 8.0 by 10 to the power of 6 would increase the value of the 8, but it would not because there would be 6 more zeros after the decimal point. Adding zeros after a decimal point does not change the value of a number. The number 8.00000 has the same value as 8.0. Does this make sense? Okay. We're going to move down to number 13. It says illustrate. Show how 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3 is the same as 7,000 divided by 10 divided by 10 divided by 10. This is easy peasy. This is easy stuff. We can do this. I'm going to get my scrap sheet of paper so that I have enough space. Okay. All right. So we're going to rewrite the problem that they've given us. Show 7,000. I'm going to write 13. Show 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3. Okay, so we're going to show this one first. All right, we're dividing. Remember, I need to know what I'm doing first. So we're multiplying or dividing? We're dividing. So when we're dividing, where does our decimal point move? To the left. How many times is it going to move to the left? 3 times. These are questions you need to ask yourself every time you come across problems like these. What are we doing? Which way is it going? How many times are we moving it? Okay? All right. So now, basically what we're saying when we say 10 to the power of 3 is 10 times 10 times 10. Remember how in our, I think it was the beginning of the letter lesson, we talked about how you do not need to confuse this with 10 times 3. That's the biggest mistake you can make when it comes to bases and exponents. This is telling me that this is 10 times 10 times 10, right? And when I multiply 10 times 10, I know that that's 100, right? 100 times 10. We're just bringing this one down right here. 100 times 10. That equals 1,000. Remember, just count the zeros. 1 times 1 is 1. How many zeros do I have? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now what we need to figure out is, what is 7,000 divided by 1,000? 7,000 divided by 1,000. Remember that trick I showed you, I believe, and it was our beginning of the lesson letter, or I think it was maybe Monday. If you do not know this, watch this. I think it was Monday, or that lesson on Monday. However many zeros you have that you're dividing that number by, and your power of 10. Remember, 1,000 is a power of 10. 1, 2, 3. That's how many zeros we have, right? Just mark them out on the other side. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Your answer is 7. All right. Makes sense? Now, here's another way that we could figure this out. They're asking us, show 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3. Then, and how it is the same as 7,000 divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10. Okay? So we just figured out 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3, right? All right. So now here's what I want us to do. We're going to squiggle this around, because that's the first part of our problem. Circle our product. We're going to do this second part right here. 7,000 divided by 10. What is 7,000 divided by 10? Remember that trick I showed you right here? These are your powers of 10. However many zeros you have right there, just mark them out. And whatever you do on this side, you do over there. We're going to do the same thing right here. How many zeros do we have in our power of 10? Just 1, right? Mark it out. Over here, mark it out. What are you left with? 700, right? So 7,000 divided by 10 equals 700. Okay, now let's do 700 divided by 10. How many times are we dividing it by 10? 3 times, right? We've already done it once. Mark that one out. We're on our second time. Same thing that you did up here, you're going to do over here, okay? How many zeros do you have? Just 1. Mark it out. Whatever you do on your power of 10, you will do on your other side. Mark it out. What are you left with? 70. Okay. Now, we've done it twice. Divided by 10, divided by 10. That's twice. We have one more. So 70 divided by 10. How many zeros do we have? Just 1. Mark it out. How many do we have over here? 1. Mark it out. What are you left with? 7. All right. So now tell me, when I divide 7,000 divided by 10 3 times, I get 7, right? We divided 7,000 divided by 10 3 times, and we got the answer of 7, the product of 7. When we divided 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3, it's basically saying 10 times 10 times 10. We got the answer of 7. So here's what I want us to do. It wants us to show how they are the same. Basically what we just did on our scrap sheet of paper, we're going to make it a little bit nicer and neater as our answer, okay? So we have 7,000 divided by 10 to the power of 3. which we turned into 7,000 divided by 1,000, because we just broke down that power of 10. 10 times 10 times 10, right? Which was 100 times 10, which gave us 1,000. So we're just going to skip this, and we got 7,000 divided by 1,000, right? So we had 7,000 divided by 1,000, which gave us the answer of 7, right? So basically all we did was we broke down that power of 10 3 times. It turned into 1,000, and we just divided it by marking out those zeros. Remember? We marked out those zeros, and it gave us the answer of 7. Now, when we come over here, we're going to say that we had 7,000, because that's what we started with. We divided it by 10. What did it give us? 700, right? And then we divided by 700 divided by 10, which gave us 70, right? And then we had 70 divided by 10, which gave us 7. Either way, those two problems are the exact same. Does this make sense? This is exponential form. This is expanded form. That's expanded out from this. They are the exact same. They provide the exact same answer. All right, let's turn to page 13.